Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Setyo, and I am excited to present a brief analysis of book buying trends in New York over the course of 30 years. Specifically, I will be looking at two key aspects: the average number of books per person per year and the type of book purchase. There are two main areas I want to talk about today. First, I will describe the average number of books bought per person per year from 1960 to 1990. Second, I will discuss the type of book people were buying over the same period, breaking it down by genre. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask at any time, or you can hold them until the end of the presentation. I will be happy to answer them. Okay, let's begin by looking at the first section, the average number of book books per person per year. As you can see from the graphs, there's a clear upward trend in the number of book purchased between 1960 and 1990. The solid blue line represents paperback books, and the dotted line shows the trend of hardcover books. From 1960 to the mid-1970s, both types of books saw a relative steady number of purchases. However, from 1980 onward, we see a noticeable increase in paperback books purchases, peaking towards the late 1980s and early 1990s. Now, let's focus on paperback books. In 1960, the number of paperback books per person was quite low, but by 1990, it had increased significantly. The paperback market grew at a faster rate compared to hardcover books, reflecting a wider trend of accessibility and affordability in the book of industry. On the other hand, hardcover books saw a much slower increase. The blue line for hardback books remained almost flat, with a slight rise in the late 1980s. Now, let's move on to the second section, which shows the type of book bought per person per year. As we can see from the second graph, there is a noticeable shift in the genre people were buying over the years. In 1960, biography and history books were the dominant category, followed by self-help and political books. As the years went on, however, the popularity of self-help books surged. By the 1980s and 1990s, people were buying more self-help books than any other genre, showing a clear shift in reading interest. The rise of paperback books coincided with this shift reading habits, suggesting that more affordable, accessible books like self-help guides become a staple for many readers. Religious books saw a steady but modest increase over the years, while political and biography books experienced a decline, especially in 1980s and 1990s. This indicates that readers' interests were evolving, possibly reflecting broader societal and cultural changes. To sum up, we look at two key trends today. First, the steady increase in the number of books per person per year, especially for paperback books. And second, the changing preference in book genre. with self-help book seeing the most significant rise. I believe that the shift toward more accessible and practical book mirror the growing demand for personal development during this period. That brings me to the end of my presentation. Are there any questions or thoughts? If not, I think that's a good place to stop. Thank you for listening.